What if I told you that the most famous cryptid of all time was caught and displayed right on this very site that you are all on at this very moment? What if I told you that the story behind this discovery makes for one of the most unexpected and unpredictable rides I've ever witnessed in an internet mystery? And well, was this cryptid really finally unveiled after all these years right on YouTube of all places? Or is there something even more to all of this? This is the story of the YouTuber who caught Bigfoot. Now on YouTube, of course, there are channels for all sorts of things. One of the pretty popular types of content naturally revolves around pets. Cat memes aside, there are millions of channels dedicated to either cute dogs, cats, or other forms of exotic pets. And when there are channels devoted to cute pets, there are also going to be tons of channels all about training them too. One of these channels is known as Peter Kane Dog Training. Now of course, as the title of the channel suggests, the majority of his videos surround, well, dog training, especially in the early days. However, he also did training videos for some other types of animals, most notably being ravens. Quite the exotic animal. In the first video of his that truly caught some massive attention, he made a video all about his pet raven, and in here it shows his personality that certainly made his videos stand out from the pack.
Check it out, it's Sam the Raven. You know, he's a douchebag. I think a lot of people don't understand what I'm saying when I say like a raven doesn't make a good pet. And you have to understand, I do this for a living. I work with animals for a living. You know, I don't have a kid running around here. Do you have a child? Maybe a raven wouldn't be such a good idea. Love is not enough for the raven, it's the truth. They need a lot more than that, and you can't just let them do whatever.
As you can see, he seems to pretty hilariously hate on his own pet throughout the entire video, and this behavior stays for a lot of other videos too. And I think it is a large reason why people would watch this channel over some of the others that do the same sort of thing. What's even funnier is that there are multiple other videos about this raven, and pretty much all of them continue bashing it, as if the soul of Edgar Allan Poe took over a person and decided to make a YouTube channel for some reason. But of course, this wouldn't be a mystery if this channel was just about some guy comically hating on his pets. No, it of course goes a lot deeper than that. Around 6 years ago, out of nowhere, the videos suddenly began changing. All of a sudden, videos started getting created about the mythical Bigfoot, and about how his father actually caught a Bigfoot.
When my father shot the Bigfoot in 1953 with Morty Lucas, they decided to butcher it to get it out of the swamp. That was the only way that they could do it. They were in Mush King, and dragging it just like you're pulling the thing through mud essentially. So it wasn't going well, so they made the decision to cut it up. They had a hard time cutting it up.
So yes, according to this guy, a Bigfoot is not an exclusive creature. They're supposedly like Sasquatches, but they're a little smaller, and on one fateful day in 1953, his own father caught one, and supposedly still has its parts in a freezer. And if you thought this was ridiculous, this is only the beginning. Eventually, through select pieces at a time, this Bigfoot creature is actually revealed and discussed. He shows off Bigfoot's hand in a video entitled Bigfoot Hand Unveiled Mysterious Properties Documentary.
When my father shot the Bigfoot in 1953, they had to cut them up to get them out of the swamp. They were too big, so they started cutting them up. This is one of the body parts. It's a hand from a young Bigfoot. And I want to be perfectly clear, this is a science documentary, and if you have a squeamish stomach, you might want to turn the camera off right now. So this is a hand of a young juvenile Bigfoot. It's been frozen. I took it out of the freezer. You can see the hand clearly. Still has congealed frozen blood on it. Notice the fingernails. I don't know if you can tell, but they're translucent like a human's. It's totally real. I'm president of the Bigfoot community because I wouldn't lie to you. This is real. These are real, and I do think that they are alien in origin. Now I'm gonna show you why.
The biggest takeaway here is that he believes that Bigfoots are alien in origin, and shows how this hand is magnetic. Over time, he shows the arms, the legs, the privates, and in the most famous video on the entire channel, he shows the head.
You can tell the immense size of the creature by comparing it to my head. My father shot the Bigfoot in 1953. They had to cut it up to get it out of the swamp. I have all the body parts. When my father passed away, that was given to me. You can see it has a lot of ice on it. It has remained frozen. You can see its eyeball there. This is very heavy. It weighs about 120 pounds, so I can't move it by myself. I have to have somebody help me move it.
But once again, things still get much, much crazier. Remember how I said that according to him, Bigfoots aren't just exclusive and that there are multiple of them? Well, at some point he comes face to face with one. No longer is it just the remains of his father's slain creature, there's some more of them still out there, and what he describes in this video is insane. This video is seriously called Bigfoot Abducted Me, Forced Me to Do Things, investigated by Major University. And well, just listen to exactly what happened on this fateful day.
About a week ago, I was right over there by that line of trees, and I was looking for my phone, and I found my phone, and right when I found my phone, I got bum rushed by a female Bigfoot. She dragged me into the woods and started carrying me sort of like a sack of potatoes. And I shit you not, she was running 45 miles an hour up hills and stuff. You know, I couldn't get away. I was stuck. We get back to the Sasquatch den, and that's when it got really weird. She made me take off my clothes. I didn't want to take them off, you know? Are you kidding me? I did not want to take them off, and she made me strip naked. And then she picks me up and starts carrying me like a baby. Here comes a male Sasquatch, you know, carrying a cub with him. And the cub's about my size, you know? She just fucking throws me on the floor like I'm a piece of trash or something. She doesn't care about me anymore. You know, her cub's back. She wanted to raise me like Wild Boy or something. You know, she wanted to make me hers. That's not the way that it works.
Yes, that's right. According to Peter Kane, this Bigfoot abducted him and wanted to take him in as one of its own, including feeding him until the rest of the family came back, where he was swiftly thrown out. And yes, believe it or not, things still get crazier. Sometime after this video, a new video was made titled, Female Bigfoot Forced Me to Do It. This one seems to talk about a different encounter and one that was much, much worse.
This is where it happened, back here in this dry creek bed. I was back here looking, I thought one of my dogs was back here, and I was like, how'd the dog get out of the yard? I saw a bunch of, you know, movement, and then I got back and well, maybe it's a deer. And then I was worried about my dogs because there's a lot of Bigfoot and Sasquatch in this area. I didn't have a gun with me, and so I got back here, and that's when I saw the female Sasquatch. She tore out of the bushes, knocked me down on the ground, and I thought she was gonna kill me. You know, I'm like grabbing for a gun, and then I realized I didn't bring a gun with me. I didn't have a dog with me. I was back here by myself. I was terrified. I was so terrified. It was so scary. And I wouldn't be back here right now, except I feel the need to like get over my fear and what happened. And what happened was, as soon as I was knocked down on the ground, she starts ripping my clothes off me. She did. She pulled my pants off me, and I'm like, oh great, what she's gonna kill me, they're gonna find my naked body here. It's worse, it's worse. As soon as she got my pants off me, she started like jerking.
That's right, a female Bigfoot actually did that, and this video left people speechless, as I'm sure you may be too. Here is where we begin seeing the comments that put everything in perspective, and served as the same type of thinking that made me want to cover this oddity so badly. These are points that we are definitely going to get back to later, but for every comment like this, there were also hundreds if not thousands of people completely agreeing with their thoughts. For years, this channel was mostly about dog training, and while there was different stuff sometimes, the sudden literal hundreds of videos about Bigfoot was one of the most unexpected left turns possible. And once again, there were still more aspects to this, all that would be revealed soon. There were videos about him visiting the spot where it happened, and reminiscing as well as hoping to conquer his fear of this place. While these videos that we discussed, and most of the famous videos in general, were from about 5 to 6 years ago, even to this day they continue sometimes. Most notably, some of the videos start showing an even more interesting angle. he begins missing what happened on that infamous day. As far as important points in this whole saga go, that's about where things do end as far as Bigfoot goes at least, as there aren't many new twists and turns after these ones that we have described. Again, the strangest thing about all of this is that there are still dog training videos right next to it, or casual streams as if nothing ever happened. It's as if these insane Bigfoot rambles just happen to be a part of the channel. It's like it's completely normal, and I think this is a large part of the reason as to why people find this channel so fascinating. With all of this being said though, naturally, there are a ton of questions to ask here regarding this entire channel. So, without further ado, it's time to do just that. The first question is, of course, is any of this real? Did Peter Cain really just uncover the mystery behind the most famous cryptid of all time right before our eyes? Were we actually watching the most important YouTube videos ever made as a result? And look, obviously what we are seeing here is not the real Bigfoot. I'd like to think that anybody watching here is able to realize that, but despite this, I've seen a number of people in his comment sections seemingly being fooled by this. Honestly, towards the beginning, I could understand this. As you all saw, during the beginning when his channel suddenly started talking about Bigfoot out of nowhere, the proof that he showed was a lot smaller in scale, and he made the smart move to somehow talk about these remarkable pieces of proof in a skeptical way. So these beginning portions I could understand people believing in to an extent. And plus, Bigfoot fanatics truly can be a different breed, so seeing them believing these early videos is not something I find shocking at all. Obviously, as the rabbit hole got deeper, this smaller scale approach did not keep up at all. Sooner or later we saw giant heads, giant hands, giant penis, and then of course, full stories about just how devious Bigfoots can truly be after all. Something else his channel shows is something that I wanted to save until now, and it is two things. One, Peter describes and even shows in many videos that he has a great interest and skill in creating statues and animatronics. He's actually an incredibly talented artist, and obviously, this is how the Bigfoot proof shows a shocking level of skill that you wouldn't ever expect out of something like this. However, the second thing we were saving from sharing until now is something that takes the suspension of belief with this channel even further down. Guess what? As this channel shows, Bigfoot wasn't even the only creature that his father found on that fateful day in 1953. There was also the Frogman. As far as I know, the Frogman is a very specific cryptid native to Ohio that, well, resembles a humanoid frog or toad. That's cool and all, but in Peter Cain's world, the Frogman is basically just a stereotypical looking alien.
Other people in the room that have been examining the Frogman, and that's what my father called it. We don't really know what this species is, but we have 11 other people here. We have doctors, scientists, a few titans of industry.
Again, what continues to strike me is just how straight he talks about this utterly ridiculous creature. The realistic way in which he speaks of it is surely what gets people so confused about everything going on here, and I just can't believe that we never even see him crack a smile when he's describing these things. There is one more creature too, because of course there is, and it's the Dog Man. Yeah, that's right, not the Frogman this time, but the Dog Man, and he made a few videos about this thing a few years ago as well. And there is actually one more thing that he did a few times too, and that was to actually show proof of some of these Bigfoots in action. The best case of this to me is when a supposed Bigfoot attempted to drink some water that Peter had left out for some stray cats at night. I guess living Bigfoots both look and sound exactly like Chewbacca, but what really sells this even more is the Bigfoot almost slipping and falling after hitting the water bowl. All of these things clearly show that nothing here was ever actually real, but again, by this point, I'm sure none of you were thinking that anyways. However, despite this, we're not done talking about the channel just yet, because there is another question. The reason people are so fascinated by this channel, us included, isn't about whether all of this is real or not, and it never was. Instead, what I think the true question to ask about all this is, why is he doing this? Again, that sudden leap many years ago to talk about Bigfoot in depth among other creatures, while also just still casually being a dog training channel, is one of the strangest things I've ever seen. And as we alluded to before, the amount of dedication to all of this is simply just shocking. Honestly, I don't have a true answer as to why he's doing this either, as I guess only he really knows, but I definitely do have some thoughts regarding all of this. Part of me wonders whether this entire act here is a nod or critique on just how ridiculous Bigfoot fanatics can be. Because of that, maybe he started making some videos that he knew may entice them, especially at the beginning, but then just threw it off the deep end on purpose for laughs. When watching these videos, some of the wackiness does sort of seem to feel like it is this way for that reason, but the second possibility may be just as likely, and it's simply nothing. There is no reason. What I see here is a man that has an amazing passion in animals as a whole, but also has a secondary passion in simply just creating. That's probably why he made a YouTube channel, but he knew that he always wanted his personality to shine through too, and also didn't want to limit himself to exactly what he should do. So having a YouTube channel, I'm sure he also figured that yeah, if he wanted to create some cool animatronics or statues, he could absolutely do that for people to see. And well, they certainly saw it, that's for sure. He also absolutely never sacrificed his personality in making these bizarre videos, and for that, he has etched a permanent marking into YouTube. When you think about it more, when YouTube was first created, this is what it was for. And no, I don't mean for Bigfoot assault recounts, but what I mean is that it was all about YouTubers coming in and doing things for their own love and passion, and most importantly, for fun. These aspects of passion, creativity, and even fun, despite all being so absurd, is something I can feel within each and every video. There truly has never been a channel quite like this one before, but it carries on a spirit that isn't around too often anymore. A spirit that in a way we hope our channel is able to keep alive too. So while no, Bigfoot wasn't truly found and captured after all, maybe by seeing this channel, we found something even rarer. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. If you like the channel, make sure to check out our social medias in the description below. Make sure to stop by our Discord. It's the best place to chat with us and hang out with fellow debunk enthusiasts. Of course, if you'd like to support the channel, please head over to our Patreon Debunk Plus, only $1 a month, and you guys get access to videos early, script PDFs, whatever random stuff we put up, and more. As always, my name is Sep from Debunk File. See you guys next time. Bye.